So the hottest name in NASCAR this week is Shane Van Gisbergen, and it definitely should be. First of all, before we jump into the real topic of this video, I have to quickly say that I was wrong about the Chicago Street Course race. I thought it was going to be a terrible race to watch and that NASCAR was not made for street courses. I was wrong. In spite of some troubles that were outside of NASCAR's control, it was a very entertaining race to watch, and I do hope that there are more street course races in the future. However, I do hope that one day my idea of partnering with major universities to sponsor races will become a reality. I've made a couple of videos on this idea in the past, and I will link to those videos at the end of this video. Anyway, on to SVG. Since winning in his NASCAR debut, people are now talking about the possibility of him coming over to NASCAR full-time. He was even asked about this in his victory interview, and he said that he has 1 year left in Australia, and then it would definitely be a possibility. So the door was open at that point, and then it became clear that the door was wide open when, on the Tuesday after the race, it was reported that the managing director of his supercars team said that he would be open to releasing Van Gisbergen from the last year of his contract, which runs through 2024, if he were to choose to pursue a career in NASCAR. So, that got me thinking, if SVG were to come to NASCAR, where does he fit in? And I quickly realized that Stewart-Haas Racing should absolutely make a big run for him. This obviously assumes that Aric Almirola decides to retire at the end of this season, which is a possibility that people seem to be talking about more and more. Stewart-Haas, as we already know, is going through some hard times at the moment. With the exception of Kevin Harvick, none of the SHR cars are currently running well, and losing both Harvick and Almirola would just be making things that much worse for the team. SHR is in need of a serious rebuild, and everyone knows it. If you've watched my previous videos, you'll know that I'm a big fan of the Josh Berry signing. But Berry is not an established star that is going to carry a 4-car team like SHR. Neither is Chase Briscoe, Ryan Preece, or Aric Almirola for that matter. One thing that Hendrick Motorsports had going for them during their rebuilding era was that they always had at least one star driver in their stable during that rebuild. At this point, SHR does not have that luxury, and pulling Riley Herbst or Cole Custer out of the Xfinity Series isn't going to do the trick. Neither is Michael McDowell or Zane Smith. As much as I like both of them, they don't have the same star power as SVG. Todd Gilliland is also, in my opinion, an underrated talent who is already in the Ford stable. But again, he doesn't have the star power. You may say that Shane Van Gisbergen isn't an established NASCAR Cup Series star that is going to carry a team either, and you'd be 100% correct. But he may be just as good as an established star, both in terms of what he would bring to the team and in terms of performance, as I'm sure he would adapt to ovals fairly quickly. SVG is now a star in the United States to go with his already established stardom in Australia and New Zealand, so he has international star power. He's going to have wide appeal for sponsors, which SHR would need if they want to remain a 4-car team, being that it appears they will be losing Anheuser-Busch, and it is likely that Smithfield would leave as well should Aric Almirola choose to retire, and the performance will be there for SVG as well. He's a 3-time Supercars champion with 80 career wins to his name, and he's batting 1,000 in NASCAR. One complicating factor on the sponsorship side of things would be his current relationship with Red Bull. Riley Herbst, who currently drives for SHR in the Xfinity Series, is with Monster Energy, and I find it hard to believe that these two sponsorships can coexist. If this were to happen, either Monster or Red Bull would have to go. Admittedly, this is a pretty big obstacle, but other than that, I think that SHR making a move for SVG is 100% in the team's best interest. Obviously, Van Gisbergen wouldn't fix all or even most of the issues at SHR, but having his star power in the fold would bring positive attention to the organization and potentially help them attract new partners. It was not long ago that SHR was a powerhouse in NASCAR. The team once won 4 championships in 2 years, with Tony Stewart in 2011 and Kevin Harvick in 2014. But it has not hoisted the championship trophy since then. Even as recently as 2018, all 4 SHR cars were winners in the same season, as they won 12 races as an organization that season. But in the 4.5 years since then, they've only won 18 races as an organization. 15 of those were with Kevin Harvick, who's retiring after this season, and Harvick won 9 of those 15 races in 2020 alone. The team needs a shakeup. If you can't bring in a past NASCAR champion and a proven winner like Kevin Harvick, then do something outside the box. Bring someone in with an outside perspective, and do something that will be a shock to the system and potentially stir some things back to life. Shane Van Gisbergen does all of that. So that's what I've got for today. Do you think that SHR should make a move for SVG? Does SVG come over to NASCAR? And if so, where does he fit in? Let me know in the comments, and please like the video to boost it in the algorithm, and have a great day. Thanks so much for watching.